Takimi. It's another weekly video. This is September 19th, sorry. And this is just another recap of what happened over the weekend, what we might see coming up this week. If you guys liked the video in the past, or if you like some of my work at all on Twitter, um, if you might could guess, I'm trying to grow my platform quite a bit. So feel free to like or subscribe, or make a retweet this, because I usually put this on a tweet or whatever. If you've appreciated anything, just feel free to return the favor by just liking or engaging with that, because it's something I want to do. I like trading more than I probably have in the past, as far as being able to do it. So if this is something that you've benefited from, just let me know, or just like, subscribe, whatever. And that gives me a sign that I should continue to do this, And if this is completely stupid, then that's okay. Just don't engage, and then I'll I'll do something else, I guess. But from what I've gathered, I've got roughly under 1,000 subscribers now on Telegram, and between those people, and between my followers on Twitter, it seems to be a consistency of people wanting videos around this time of the week, like just after the weekend close, after we get kind of confirmations of weekly candles. um, I, in response to that, I also kind of looked at, well, Sunday price actions are kind of complex, kind of unpredictable, and Sundays are not a good personal day for me to trade. I'm out and about usually, but and Mondays aren't either, because usually those are when the selling occurs the most. We kind of also get a unique perspective into the week. Like, that's that one day of the week that we can see a reaction first. And you can see with these candles, I mean, this is not the weekly, but let's just go to the weekly here. But not even looking at the price action, but just the candles, like all these wicks. Like, the wicks are a sign that there's variability between highs and lows throughout the week. So very rarely has the week started with the low. And how if that would be the case, that means we would get a bullish candle with no wick. So how many bullish candles do we have without a wick? Well, there's one, which was small. Two. You could probably go here, three. And there's a smaller one here, but let's say, just kind of skimming through here fast. I mean, you could make an argument for maybe like four of these, up until, let's just say here, because this is where the trend stops. So if we do a date range, in the past 500 days, we've only put the low in on the week like three, possibly four times ish, if you kind of want to give a little bit of leeway on that. So that's one reason I usually do kind of wait Monday mornings for analysis purposes. If I'm already in a trade, that's okay. But I usually don't enter a trade on weekly close, because I know that there's probably going to be a wick of some. Usually the first second into the weekly open is not going to be the low of the week, and it's probably not going to be the high of the week either. So that's the thing. It depends on other factors. I don't typically trade or don't trade based off of weekly open or close, because sometimes my alerts are focused on daily close candles to confirm those trades. So that plays into that, but that's all complex. Anyway, I say all that to say, based off what people have told me, they like videos, they like these type of analysis videos on Saturday, Sunday, possibly Monday. I know there's a lot of influencers out there that make videos on Sunday afternoons, and I think there's like three really good ones actually. And Cold Blooded Chiller is probably my favorite of the three, and I do listen to him, but more than I don't probably. So that's one on Sundays that I don't want to compete with. I couldn't anyway. I don't want to. He's 10,000 times better than me, and that's I don't want to saturate a day where people are streaming anyway, right? So this this allows you guys to watch other people, but then also this comes in line with a different time frame, um, an after weekend analysis. So that's the main reason for that, honestly. So my idea here is to get about one per week of these in on Mondays. um, and just to kind of explain, I do plan on making like tokenomics videos, probably on Thursdays. This is something that this is not concrete, so this may change. The name of that may change. The theme may change. But I kind of want to like research actual projects and do them on screen and do them while I'm recording them, so that way you guys can one see if there's a coin that is probably voted by my followers or subscribers, or just ones that I find interesting, or some that are just in the news, and just say, hey, what is it about this coin that attracts these people? Is it a good project? How are the fundamentals? How are the developers doing their work? What kind of investing did they do? I kind of want to deep dive into that, and it would probably be, I haven't decided. It might be a 10-minute video with one project, or I might do a 30-minute video with like I don't know. I'm trying to decide on that. And then I do plan on doing some A-Rune videos. That would probably be just a set series of educational videos. It probably wouldn't be reoccurring. It might be like a series of 8 videos, 10 videos that you can go back to for the next year or whatever. I do plan on having an educational trading series, which would be probably one day a week as well. So that would probably bump up to about 3 videos a week. And I'm actually thinking about kind of like a whiteboard type video as well, where which is kind of the same as the education, but I would actually go through it on my tablet, and so I would show you in detail how I process trades. That would be more of an actual like whiteboard style education where you learn as I kind of flesh it out versus just saying it over a microphone and a trading view screen, right? So, and then last but not least, I am thinking about something about NFTs or something, but that's for the most part, my followers have not been interested in NFTs. I'm not an NFT guy, so I might change it. I don't know. So anyway, long story short, looking at about 3 to 5 videos a week. I also have a newsletter currently, which is on my Twitter. So if you want to engage with that, you can. It's kind of not really advertised right now. I mean, it's active. I just started it, but I haven't full-fledged, promoted that yet. So anyway, now that I've kind of rambled about that for 5 minutes, I'm going to cover a weekly perspective on Bitcoin. Then we're going to go to Ethereum, and I might just cover the main ones here. I might skip this, but no, I think I'll check it out. But we'll cover these until I start to get kind of a format of this. Like I said, new to this. If you like it, like, subscribe, retweet, whatever. If you don't, no problem. So, all right. So on the Bitcoin chart, so this is the weekly perspective. I'm going to turn off my A-Rune bands for now, and kind of just do like a naked price action here. We're currently at 1902. Let's see, and then what we did here was we closed. We definitely had a bearish engulfing for the weekly close right here, and see if I can zoom up with these crappy. Can't really zoom up very well on the weekly, but as you can see, we wicked up hard. We rejected pretty bad, and we engulfed this. Engulfing is when we wick above and then we end up closing below the previous candle. So not only that, but we also closed bearishly above this below this entire structure. As you can see, broke slightly below it. That might also depend on the exchange. Let me see here. Sometimes the tether ones are a little bit different. And I think I marked this out already too. So we also did close below that as well. So that's something that so far we can confirm. You know, it's worth, sometimes it's worth looking at that on different pairs. But we closed below both of them, but we also maintained above this. So now we're in kind of a weird structure. Let's get rid of this. Kind of zoom in here. It's kind of janky, but so now we were kind of in this range, and as you can already see, we wicked below, well below, and now we're kind of gravitating right here. Again, we got 6 days left, so we got plenty of days. This is when we have something like the weekly. I don't typically look at the current candle if it's so early, and the same with the daily chart. Like, if we're 1 hour into the daily, I'm not going to look at the daily current candle. Now, ironically enough, Aaron does look at current candles for its analysis, but only for highs and lows, not for current price action, only if it's made like a current high or low. And so anyway, we're still below this, but we got plenty of time. So what bulls want to see here on the weekly is they just want to close above here. That's or above, let's see, get that properly, above 19.2, 19.3, and we're really close to it right now. So anything could happen as far as this goes. We're like 4% from the wick. So anyway, there's 10, 15 different probabilities right now, because like I said, we're not even a day into this chart, and that's okay. But as far as this goes, it's not good. We had a bearish engulfing, broke below this line, so now we're kind of, like I said, bulls want to climb this, bears want to stay below. It's as easy as that. So now if we do close below this line, I think that does give more response. Let's say we even close up here for bears to go down. And so that would be, I usually don't trade like this on the weekly. Let's say we close right here, and that's exactly, you can tell by that I don't really trade on the weekly much, but if you close somewhere right here, you might be safe to kind of be in this kind of pocket, and if you did, I mean, even if you traded that, like I got this here as an alert. I mean, even if you did max, you're only looking at a 6 hours. It's not really that profitable. I mean, it is, but you're talking about the weekly time frame. You're talking about funding. You got all these other issues, and right now, the risk to reward is not. It's just in the biggest risk to reward right now is spot, and that's exactly why we are stuck in this price range since late June or mid June, sorry. So this whole structure has pretty much gone nowhere. I mean, even if you start here, we've dropped 7%, and probably should have did this together, but in 100 days roughly. So that's relatively boring for something like Bitcoin to do, and I mean, that's just how it is right now. And one of the reasons that is the way it is because people are not satisfied to buy here because they want to buy lower, or they want to buy a confirmation of a higher trend. Okay, and the sellers have either already sold or they don't want to sell right now. So that's kind of why we're stuck in the middle. Like, there's not really, like, we might get volume and don't, like, supply and demand is different than volume. There are similarities, so I know if people do compare the both, I know what they mean. And so the volume here is substantially decent versus the volume was much lower down here, um, and then we went up from there. So, but this is not necessarily reflective because more participants could be here. More people, the same amount of people from here could have more money now because they sold here, or more likely sold here. As you can see with this chart, this was a high selling range here, and this one was here. We can also change the volume perspective here on a horizontal price, and this is also reflective. Even only putting 2021 in perspective, most people bought here with this gray line. So that's another reason. Like, people have bought here, they bought enough, and so they don't want to buy anymore. They'd rather take the risk to go down, or wait for it to go higher. I've bought some here, and I do think it's time to get long term bullish. But that's if you have the capital to do so. Like, that's something where I'm comfortable buying for the next, buying now and holding it for the next 12 to 24 months. And some people aren't, and that's okay. I mean, and even if I'm not saying I bought a lot. It's just my strategy. Like I've told many people, I've sold right around here. I can't remember if it was here or here, but I definitely sold above 60,000. I sold pretty much all my stack. So I know for sure I had a 6 in front. So, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying what I did, and so I sold somewhere in this range. It probably wasn't the wick, to be honest. Probably somewhere around here. I usually trade after confirming candles, like I said. So usually I don't trade wicks. So somewhere in here, and the reason I did is because I saw this 2-week bearish dive, and I won't draw the other one, but I saw the bearish divergence. That's why, and we had a big overestimation here, and that helped confirm that this was a pretty large divergence, and so I got out. I think my Aaron also confirmed it here. I actually did not sell here. I sold somewhere around here, and I think the weekly kind of gave me insight on that. Oh no, it didn't. Right here. So, and you can see my other buys and sells. But yeah, not sure what I'm talking about there. Anyway, it did give me some insight to sell here. Seemed like it was getting weaker. I honestly, though, I had no idea that it was going to do this. Like go all the way down. I really did not. That was just something that I originally thought that we would just kind of like reclaim something here. I didn't think this would fall like it did. I think I did buy here, and then I sold again here. So I think I broke even, lost a few percent, and now I'm holding, so I'm losing a little bit more. But that's part of the risk, right? So anyway, that's with that. But you can see with this volume, even on historic volume, we're looking at 90. Or no, that's way too. Well, even with something like 2018 full bear market for the past 5 years, or full market for the past 5 years, looking at 92.73. So that's why, like some people like me, I had 4,000 Bitcoin. I had 8,000 Bitcoin. Or not. I bought Bitcoin when it was 4,000 or 8,000. I remember very distinctly where I bought several times under 5 figures. And so somebody like me, I'm not afraid for it to go down to 4 figures again. And I don't want it to, but there's a lot of people that are really, they don't mind it at all. They'll literally let it, they've been in since $500 and they'll let it go down to $500. And so these people got more capital than you, they got more patience than you, they probably got a better trading strategy, Yeah, and that's not a discount to anybody. And I'm just saying is like there's going to be more people that are. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be of that level, and that's what you got to expect. So, but all you have to do is find a trading niche, find an edge, and get around it. That's how I did it. Like everybody trades differently, and so you got to find your edge, and it's okay. And honestly, if you can't find your edge, just trade EMAs. And that sounds so cliche, and I know a lot of advanced traders don't like EMA trades. But if you can't outpace the market on EMA trades, then you shouldn't really be trading anything advanced. You should just trade EMAs. And I think I got the 50 here. I guess I know I'm kind of diverging a little bit, but so far, the start of, say roughly this, say a start here. We started the year below the 50, and now we're, oh, I did the wrong thing. Started below here, and now we're at 55% below. So if your portfolio is more than 50, if you've lost more than 55% on your portfolio, you should probably stop doing what you're doing. And again, and I say that with all the as nicely as possible, in a friendly way. Like that's, I'm here to try to help you do things properly. So, if you would have, let's say you had one Bitcoin and you sold right here, you'd have 1.5 Bitcoin, or you would have prevented yourself from a 55% loss on that one Bitcoin if you just would have sold here. Now you probably would have bought here, sold here again. Same thing applies, right? Or you could even do something like 200. I don't usually trade 200 this big, but this is on the daily. Like we've been in the selling since April. So, and this is probably why most people haven't traded in April, so, like subconsciously. But if you would have got out of here, you would have prevented, again, 54% loss. So roughly the same thing. So anyway, you get the idea. So now, kind of detoured a little bit, but let's go to the daily chart. And so we kind of see what we said with the weekly into a less concentrated perspective. Turn on my A-rune here. So far we got the good wick. Honestly, if we could get above here, that would be great for the daily. I don't think that's probably going to happen, but it could. We got plenty of time left. But staying above here is definitely good. So right now, I bought, I believe, at this break right here, as soon as this broke. So I'm a little bit underwater. I'm maybe 3 or 4% underwater. But one thing I see here is we had this launch. We had this breaker impulse. So I knew it was going to come back, even though I did held. So I was okay with it going underwater. Again, that's a long-term position. Broke below this, so now we're in danger. So again, the same thing applies. We got this range to worry about here, but we also got, but this is also part of a bigger swing low order block, which is top of this candle here, bottom wick here. So this is really what we got going on. We got a smaller range inside a bigger range. And so we're just kind of flirting around with these levels. And for me, this is a no trade zone. What I want to see, like I said, I'm not shorting this. I haven't been shorting except for like maybe 1 hour time frames. I would want to wait until we probably get a close below this line. And even then, I'm probably not even going to start buying spot until we get below this line. So, and again, I'm honestly not trying to make an excuse to like, oh, Osu doesn't want to trade, just make an analysis for blah, blah, blah. Like, like this is a really, like, for those of you that may have been here like 2 years or less, like this is an incredibly terrible time to trade. This is the part where you can get chopped up, you can get bored, you can start just trading because you're bored, or trading because of fake outs or anything. Like this is where, like, if you end up, like, you know, being successful through this and make it to another bull market, they're going to be like, oh, you were so lucky, well, you held on, like, blah blah blah. Like, no, this is where, like, yeah, I mean, luck can be involved, but this is where things get really complicated and only the best survive. And knowing that, like, look, I'm not even saying that I'm the best either. So my deflection, my my whole MO for this is survival. You want to survive now to thrive later. So the best way to survive now is to just only buy on very big moves and prepare for the long term. Short term, there's very low reward in bearish markets. Most of the time, the biggest opportunity is bullish markets, and that's why some people are always so bullish long term, like the perma bulls. You know, I don't agree with perma bulls, but they got the right attitude sometimes. Where if the markets eventually turn up and go bullish, so that's the thing. You want to survive this. You got other market conditions outside of the crypto market that are hurting this. We could see, this could go down the rest of the year. Just gotta survive. So for me personally, what that looks like is 4-day charts. I'm a big fan of 4-day charts. Gives a unique perspective of a higher time frame while still being a little bit kind of a regular time frame. Sometimes I use the 2-day charts, but currently it's a little too janky for this kind of price action. It's more successful on, you know, more upswings. So we go to the 4-day chart, and it's as simple as buying in when this hits blue. That's all it is. I bought, sold, and I lost a little bit. How much did I lose here? 10% off of a 5% risk trade. So I lost 2% of my total portfolio there. Not bad. You know, that's a normal trade, right? So anyway, that's what I do for the long term, and it's only done this twice in this year, and those are why I got in those 2 times earlier. Is because the market was telling me that something was happening, but both times they were fake outs, and so even on a time like this, it only happens 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 times. So what, at worst case, I lose 4 trades and I make 5 of them. You know, it's totally fine. So that is what it is. So anyway, that's kind of my perspective. That's and I know that's a cheesy way to do it, but that's how I survive for my portfolio long term. Like, I still trade intermittently, things like that. 4 hour, pretty unhealthy. We had that pretty upswing, like I mentioned, went up with the divergence, and you know, a lot of people ignore these divergences. They're pretty. These are very, very clean. Look at that, very clean on the closing. Had the downswing in the opposite direction, led back. I know since we went up here that we would at least retest back at this line. We did. We went straight through it, and now we're retesting back up. So my indication is, I think that we, for bears, and this is, I think, the most likely scenario, top of this range, go down. But again, even if you go down to the lows, you're only getting a 2R. It's not very profitable. I don't think it makes sense to kind of go beyond this, and if it does, there's no more, there's no more downside left to kind of protect yourself. So I don't see why you wouldn't go down this way. And even the 6R is that's not the best, considering the historic price action that would happen as a result. So anyway, that's what I Bears want to retest that line, and probably, well, actually, probably both of these. So Bears want to close the second line and do the opposite. They want to kind of come up here. See, again, you got kind of like another support structure here. So even though that didn't really play into it, but I don't even think I would long until at least here, honestly, and target the low. But again, you got, I mean it's okay, but we haven't even touched 24 in a month, and the way things have been going, are we really going to get that high to justify that R when we had a bear div right here? We have all these structures put in place. See what I'm saying? Like the risk value is not good enough on either side right now, and so, like I said, it's just buying at certain intervals. I've been pretty vocal about this. I bought some at 19.3. I'm buying at 17.3. I'm buying at 15.3 and 12.3. Or 12 to 11.3, whatever. So, and part of those threes at the end are for memorization, but they also are close enough to where the levels that I want to see. So that's that. That's how that plays out. So let's go to Ethereum, and I'll try to go a little faster. And like I said, maybe one day I'll stop rambling in between these charts. But all right, go to the weekly. And I had the structure pointed here on various charts on Twitter. We got very close to that 1250 target that I wanted. Didn't quite get it. So I'm not sure if I got it or not. Don't really care. And this is from a lower time frame structure anyway. But let's see. Let's just get rid of that for now. Same thing. We not only did we have bearish engulfing. Actually, not quite, because the wick didn't go as high, but we did get a bearish breaker, which means going through entire order block. So we should revisit the 14s at some point. That could be this week. That wouldn't be that hard to do either. So again, we're kind of in the same scenario. We got two, just kind of like an area where we're kind of stuck in the middle. So same thing applies. Long above, short below, because there's no point in doing anything here while there's still indecision. Like, make decisions when the market makes decisions. That's how I see it. And you got the Ethereum going into a bearish consolidation, getting ready to go to a bearish wedge. So my thought process is we're probably going to go something like this and go down. And we may go down to 500, 600. I don't know. That's just a theory as far as the way that this is priced into. The bullish indicator is at 56, so get roughly 8-9 weeks to figure that out. So we may not get a full bullish start again for another 9 weeks. I mean, that pretty much takes us to the Thanksgiving holidays or early December. So that's something to think about. Like, what if we don't get anything substantial in one way or the other until December 1st? That's something we have to keep in mind, and that's hard for someone that hasn't traded this before, and it's even hard for people that have. So anyway, that's the perspective on that. I have no idea. Oh, that's the brush. Gotcha. That's pretty annoying. Jeez. Get this straightened out. That's why I don't use the brush tool. So anyway, daily, same thing. You can see where I put this low structure. Probably should be more here when we zoom in. The structure is pretty well defined. So again, you got the same thing going on here. We kind of no man's land. So that's just what we got for now. 4 hour. Still holding on to this band. The reason these bands look effective is because the Aaron band is designed to, the top of the band if you're bearish or the bottom if you're bullish, is designed to be kind of like a point to add onto your shorts or to close your shorts, basically. But we rejected here. The Aaron band got more strength. Rejected here again. Now we're going here for a third time. So we see what the line chart says. Line charts are a little more effective on these kind of formations. So yeah, we did not break it. I think that holds. So we're kind of in a channel right now. Let's see here. None of that really works. Yeah, so I don't even, there really isn't anything as of now, but so yeah, nothing on the line chart necessarily. So again, this is kind of just in no man's land. I'd want to see a recovery of this, probably more so the top of this line, like 1470, and that kind of goes into my Aaron median line as well. This is an Aaron line. This is not EMA. Kind of, and that line is like the average of all the, the kind of Aaron, long story, but it's kind of the average that goes into the script. So I probably wouldn't long until 1470, and that's kind of risky, honestly, right now. So that's kind of it, stuck in no man's land again with that, and that is how it's going to be this week. Honestly, I think your best scenario, as much as you don't want to, you kind of stay on the sideline. Okay, let's look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Strength. Lost a lot of strength here. I don't want to blame it on any kind of news, but the merge was a sell the news event. Kind of hovering here between the band line and kind of some weird structure support. Not even really support. Aaron, very wide bearish consolidation, getting ready to go into a wedge when it flatlines. So I would expect, let's look on the 2 week, just to, okay, we may retest this. So that's kind of what I see. I have not even traded the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, so we might see a 17% drop. It's kind of what I see. Daily kind of confirms this. Actually, we just had drop to kind of a support-ish scenario, broke down. Now we're at this kind of next section. So we're kind of right there in the middle. If we break too much below, I can see this coming. Let me look at 2-day again. Let's see. Yeah, we had a breaker here, so I think that does make sense to revisit here. So I thought that was on the 2 week chart, but it's actually on the 2-day chart, and so that kind of confirms, was this 5.8? And then 5.8. See, it works out pretty well. So that's that scenario. Honestly, this looks kind of crap, to be honest. I'm not even gonna really acknowledge it right now. So let's go to Solana weekly. Man, this is just some crap weakness. So I can see this easily falling back down. Might retest the lows down to 23.5. But we'll see. This Solana has surprised us before. But if we're going to zoom in here, again, same thing. Bearish engulfing. Had a bearish engulfing pretty much across the charts. So that makes it really difficult. Sorry, I just hit a message. Didn't know if I had to go. Thought it was an emergency, but it's not. So kind of in between. We did close in between, so it's a little stronger. That's kind of a relative term at this point, but it's not as weak as Ethereum or Bitcoin, and even some ones like Atom. Like shoot, Atom is just going strong. Atom is not even in the bear market right now. So got that going on. Let's see, daily. Kind of climbing back up here, but we got this structure here. Go to the top of the line, bottom. So we're climbing back above ahead. This is honestly just a lot of indecision here, and same with the 4 hour. This is the problem with these kind of charts, and again, that's why I say focus on higher time frames, because there's a lot of indecision going on at this point, and you do not know if this is going to go like this. And I've seen charts that have done that. You know, let's see here. I'm trying to think of some charts that may have done that before. But anyway, I've seen some charts that have just consolidated for 12 months, 24 months, and that gets boring really fast, to the point you just give up. So for this, I would focus on more of the higher time frame. Let's just look at the daily. Definitely want to recover 40 for now. For a long-term buy scenario, sell or at the $24. You could probably make a case to buy at 28. I wouldn't personally risk it. At that point, I would wait for a bounce at 28 and go back here at 35. So again, no man's land. AVAX. Let's go weekly. Got that big structure there. Kind of going to try to retest this again. Nothing really going on. I can't see a reason why that wouldn't retest. And the interesting thing is we actually have a bullish structure for the ARIN, which isn't going really well. So we do have a bearish consolidation that we entered in for this candle, so it's it's still working functionally. But this could lead to a bull div sometime later this year. I would expect this to come down. I'm not interested in buying it until it's at least 15. I'm probably looking more at the median here at like 12.50. And then honestly, a nice buy would be single digits. Anything single digits would be fine. And then real quickly at the BNB chart, again same weakness, no man's land, bearish. No, not quite bearish engulfing because we had a wick from the previous one. So this has some potential, but I don't. I'm really concerned about this. Man, if we drop down here, that's a clear-cut bullish breaker, and that would be devastating for the Binance chain. And I've looked at this quite a bit, but I do not think that chain can survive that big of a drop. But we'll see. It has been one of the stronger chains during this run. So that's pretty much going to be it for now. Like I said, if you like this, like it, subscribe, or do whatever. Just tell me thank you, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I do appreciate it, though. I don't want to say it doesn't matter. But I'm glad to have you here, and hopefully I can give you more refined videos in the future. So take care.